Chapter 1. The Shift I Couldn't Ignore. It started like a flicker in the corner of my vision, something subtle I couldn't name at first. Sarah and I had been married for 8 years. Life wasn't a honeymoon anymore, sure, but it was stable, warm, lived in. I thought we were doing fine. Apparently, I was the only one who felt that way. Suddenly, she was different. She dressed nicer, put on perfume for work, stayed out later. Her phone lit up with late-night messages that she'd quickly flip over, saying it was just her sister. But she looked guilty. Or maybe thrilled. I wasn't sure which was worse. Then one night, she came home at midnight reeking of men's cologne and with her lipstick smudged. Said she was hugging a friend goodbye. Couldn't look me in the eye. And I, like a fool, tried to believe her. But belief has a limit. And mine? It cracked wide open the night I ran into her sister, at the grocery store, while Sarah was supposedly having dinner with her. That was the moment I knew. And from that moment on, I stopped trusting the woman I loved. Has nothing to do with hers. Chapter 2. The Spiral into Paranoia. After that, I was a different man. I began watching, noticing, connecting dots I didn't want to see. Sarah started talking about a new coworker, Jake. The kind of man who rides motorcycles, climbs rocks, and just got divorced. The kind of man she described a little too vividly. I confronted her, more than once. But she turned it around on me every time. Said I was paranoid, jealous, clingy. That I needed to trust her. And every time I gave her space, she took more. The night she came home, all flustered and defensive, claiming she'd been with the girls while smelling like someone else's cologne? I didn't sleep at all. My mind spiraled. My appetite disappeared. My sanity began to chip away. I was preparing to hire a private investigator. I was researching lawyers. I was preparing for the end of everything I thought I knew, until Lisa, her friend, drunk dialed me one night. She slurred something about being proud of Sarah, how their plan was working, how I was finally acting like I cared. And that's when I realized, this wasn't an affair. This was something worse. Chapter 3. The Game I Never Agreed to Play. Lisa's drunk confession shattered everything. The affair wasn't real. Jake was a coworker, yes, but barely an acquaintance. The text messages? Fake. The perfume, the secretive looks, the smudged lipstick, all staged. My wife, the woman I trusted with my soul, had orchestrated an emotional trap with her bitter friends as her cheerleaders. They called it Project Wakeup Call. They thought it was funny. They took photos of my reactions. Sarah had been feeding them updates, laughing at how I brought her flowers, planned dates, begged for time together. All because they wanted to make me jealous. Because they thought I needed to be reminded of what I had. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in the dark, thinking about every moment over the past 6 weeks. Every time she looked me in the eye and lied. Every time I questioned myself, wondering if I was being too controlling, too insecure. It wasn't just betrayal. It was manipulation. It was emotional warfare. When Sarah walked through the door that night, I was already packed. I told her what Lisa said. Her face turned ghost white. Then came the sobs, the I never meant for it to go this far, the I was going to tell you soon. She thought it was a joke. A harmless trick. But the joke was on me. And I was done playing the fool. Chapter 4. The Gaslight and the Exit. I moved out that night. Grabbed whatever I could carry and dropped it at a storage unit. Then I crashed at my brother's place, not knowing if I'd ever go back. Sarah kept texting, calling, sending emails. At first it was apologies and pleas. Then it shifted. She said I was overreacting. That it was all just to get my attention. That I was throwing away 8 years over a prank. But I knew better. It wasn't a prank. It was calculated emotional abuse. Spread across a timeline they mapped out together like scientists testing an experiment. Phase 1, secrecy. Phase 2, suspicion. Phase 3, fake lipstick stains. Disappearing overnight. If Lisa hadn't slipped up, who knows how far they would have gone. The worst part? They weren't just fooling me. They were laughing. Sarah admitted they took videos. She documented my pain like a social experiment. And her friends? They celebrated every moment I looked broken. They called it working. I filed for divorce 4 days later. Her friends had the audacity to call me. Said I was too sensitive. Said Sarah learned her lesson. I told them the truth. You don't get to torture someone and call it love. Chapter 5. Rewriting the narrative. I thought it couldn't get worse. I was wrong. Once Sarah realized her apologies weren't working, she changed her story. Suddenly, I was the villain. She started telling people that she faked the affair because she thought I was cheating. That she had no choice but to test my loyalty because I'd been distant, working late, and changed my phone password. None of that was true. My phone password changed because of work security protocols. I stayed late because of deadlines. And the gym? Doctor's orders. That's it. But that didn't stop her from spinning the tale. She fed that story to our mutual friends. Even coworkers at her office started gossiping about how I was some controlling, jealous husband. And the cherry on top? Monica, yes, one of the masterminds, called me. Said their plan was to prove my loyalty. That if I reacted with jealousy, it meant I still loved Sarah. If I didn't, I was cheating. And somehow that was supposed to justify 6 weeks of lies. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Not only were they rewriting history, they were trying to pin their cruelty on my love. I told Monica the only thing she was testing was how much betrayal a man could take before he broke. And I was done breaking. Chapter 6, The Final Wake-Up Call. 8 months. That's how long it took to officially end a marriage that died the moment Sarah chose deceit over honesty. I wish I could say it ended quietly, but Sarah and her friends weren't done. During mediation, she brought Jennifer, one of the original architects of Project Wakeup Call, for emotional support. The same woman who laughed while I broke down. I refused to speak a word until she left the room. Sarah acted like I was the villain for setting that boundary. Even her parents tried one last time to change my mind. Her father called it a rough patch. Said marriage was about weathering storms. I told him this wasn't a storm. This was a wildfire she lit herself, then laughed while I burned. The day the divorce was finalized, I got an email from my lawyer. That was it. No big ceremony. No final argument. Just done. I walked out of the courthouse alone. No ring. No regrets. I'm still staying at my brother's, but I'm hunting for a new apartment. A new place to start fresh. Far from Sarah. Far from her toxic wine night circle. Far from the ghost of the man I used to be. People ask me if I miss her. I don't. I miss the version of her that never existed. She thought she was waking me up to appreciate her. But what she really did was wake me up to who she truly was.